The mayor tells me that a part of this well here broke. Now, this well supplies water to about 300 residents here in Vinton. Now, it had been restored, but some residents just drove by and told us they had low water pressure, and another one called us on the phone and told us the same thing. But those who did have water today told me they were relieved, but still concerned because they were being asked to boil that water. This portion of the border fence that you see here is 35 feet tall. And this morning, a 24-year-old man from Mexico fell to his death after trying to scale the fence here. Now, El Paso County Judge Ricardo Samaniego says in circumstances like these, the medical examiner's office will try and contact the families of the deceased migrants. Mr. Lucchini telling us this is a regular thing, and you can see why. Right here in this car, you can see a credit card sitting there on the center console. This neighborhood here off of Racetrack Drive is flooded. You can see I'm standing in water here in the street, but if you take a look down, the water is actually much deeper, farther down the street. We saw neighbors walking around, and it actually came all the way up to their knees. Now, this water coming so high during this afternoon's rain, it actually made its way inside of this woman's home. This is the home of El Pasoan Josie Rosales. If you take a look inside, that's her living room, and you can see water and mud on her floor. Natasha, and that El Paso woman that you were just speaking about tells me she is worried about the Delta variant, but will not be getting her second dose of the Pfizer vaccine after she says half of her face was paralyzed for months after receiving her first dose.
KTSM 9 News reporter Shelby Kapp spoke with neighbors and El Paso Water about what happened. Shelby.
Well, I am here on Sam Snead Drive in East El Paso, and as you can see on the street here, the road is sunken in and multiple holes can be seen. Now, residents who live on this road tell me that there was a project going on. This road was recently paved, and they thought it had been completed, but then it rained.
And in 4 days, the street was horrible.
Right in front of Lorena Rodriguez's home on Sam Snead Drive, holes can be seen in the pavement. She tells KTSM the road looked completed before the rain.
It looked really nice, very wide. We had a nice surface, but everything started to go bad when it started to rain.
But El Paso Water says the road had been paved, but the project was not completed, and storm drains had not been installed yet.
The plan was pave the road so the residents have access and come back and cut in the inlets and cut in the pilot channel afterwards. We got as far as getting the road paved.
Here you can see in this video from Sam Snead resident Laura Pina Alba, water pouring into a construction site on Sam Snead Drive closer to Lee Trevino. El Paso Water says they have brought in another contractor as of Wednesday to try and help fix the issues and finish the project within the next few months.
We've had issues with sewer and water services there as well because that project washed out in the middle of the project. We have a game plan that we're putting together right now to try to get this thing done in the next couple of months and not terribly much longer.
One resident describing this whole situation as a nightmare. Now, right now, El Paso Water is meeting with those residents in a community meeting to talk about these issues. Reporting live in East El Paso, Shelby Kapp, KTSM 9 News.
KTSM 9 News reporter Shelby Kapp is live with a look at some of the confusion over the flood zones in this specific area.
Well, Daniel, it is raining here again, and multiple residents who live in that neighborhood that you see here behind me tell me they don't have flood insurance, saying that's because they thought their neighborhood was no longer in a flood zone, but that's not the case.
You know, when they redid the Donovan Drive and new drainage system and everything, FEMA sent us a letter that we did not need flood insurance anymore because it was all taken care of.
Residents speaking about this letter they received years ago, but no one still has the letter.
We all did. We all did. We all got that letter, and look at us.
And by looking at the city of El Paso's GIS map, you can see that this neighborhood is in a flood zone.
It's in a flood zone. The question is what the level of risk is. So there are some areas of that neighborhood that are high risk. There are some areas that are lower risk, but there is still a risk there.
FEMA saying everyone lives in a floodplain.
even though these houses may have been told that they no longer live inside of a special flood hazard area identified by FEMA, that doesn't reduce the risk. They're just at a lower risk. At no time on any FEMA maps will you ever find someplace identified as this area will not flood. It's just impossible to predict.
A spokesperson for the city of El Paso tells me that city staff is not aware of any flood map changes that have been made to this specific area. Reporting live in West El Paso, Shelby Kapp, KTSM 9 News. Governor Greg Abbott and Mayor DeMarco just spoke with us moments ago, and Governor Abbott telling us that he hopes this is charged as capital murder and as a hate crime. He says he didn't want to get ahead of himself, but that he believes that this is what this is. And also, speaking with Mayor DeMarco, he says that now the city has to prepare for 20 funerals, and he was asked, well, how do you do that? He says, we've never had to do it before. He doesn't know, but we will find a way because that's what El Paso does. And also those state representatives, Cesar Blanco, also saying that the parties will come together. This is not about politics today, and that they hope that they can reunite everyone and make El Paso feel safe again, that people can go to the store with their children and feel safe. And also speaking with Joe Moody as well, Texas representative, he was saying that he's praying for the victims and for their families, and that he hopes that everyone can unite in this difficult time. Now, we are still on scene here, and as the sun starts to go down here today, it is still an active scene, now a crime scene, as they investigate exactly what happened. But we'll go ahead and keep you updated as more information becomes available. And this shooting happened earlier this morning, and as you have reported earlier, that there were 20 people confirmed dead by the El Paso Police Department and 26 more injured. Reporting live in East El Paso, Shelby Kapp, KTSM 9 News.